put you down, put on your smile, and turn your dial to the best new show in town. Rose Taptoe, Rose Taptoe, Rose Taptoe and friends. It's fun for you, educational too, lots of things to do. There'll be jokes and songs you can sing along, pets and plays and Grandma K. So clap your hands, tap your toes, turn your laughter on. There's a show that's just for you. It's Rose Taptoe and friends. I'm Rose Taptoe, and welcome to my show, Rose Taptoe and Friends. Today we have a very special Thanksgiving program for you. What's one of the first things that you think of when you hear the word Thanksgiving? I bet it's turkey. So today we came out to say hello to some turkeys, and we're at O'Donnell's Turkey Farm. And right next to me is Mrs. Pat Cedar from O'Donnell's Turkey Farm. Hello. And we have a turkey for you. And Mrs. Cedar's going to tell us all about this turkey.
Okay, boys and girls, this is a tom turkey. This is our turkey gobbler. And he is the prettiest turkey. He's the one that makes his head turn blue and red, and he's the one that has the most things to learn about. Now, the little piece of skin that's down there on his nose is called his snood. And it just pulls up and pulls down. He can make it get bigger or smaller. We haven't figured out what it's for, but his nose is right underneath there. So we figured it's his nose warmer. Now, underneath his snood and under his neck is his wattle. And all of those pretty things down there, that's a wattle. And it's nice and warm and really soft. And he can make that get bigger or smaller. And down underneath his neck, and he hides it, are some black feathers. And that's his beard. Tom turkeys have a beard just like dads do, except they don't shave. Rusty? So when you want to come up and touch him, you want to be sure and touch that beard. Now, tom turkeys will strut. And when they strut, they put their tail feathers up, they'll put their wings down, and they'll put their back feathers way up. And that's called strutting. Tom turkeys will strut. They stomp their feet and they say, "Boy, am I tough," or "Aren't I pretty?" And they'll just go strutting around. Now you want to see their toenails are very, very sharp. And that's how they protect themselves. So you do not want to go into a turkey pen as long as they're by yourself, because they can jump up on you and scratch you. They have big long wings, but they do not really fly. They just kind of glide. Now let's have Rose touch this turkey and see what she thinks about his snood and his wattle.
Ooh, this is his snood.
That's his snood.
It's very, very soft.
And his wattle.
And his wattle underneath here. Oh, that's soft and very warm, too.
And his beard is way down there. He's probably hiding.
Yeah, he is right now. Boy, their feathers are very thick and very soft.
They're very, very warm.
Well, thank you. This is the first time I've ever seen a turkey this close.
Now, there's one other thing, boys, girls, before we leave today. We have a wishbone. You all know how to wish on a wishbone? But wrong. This is a special wishbone. This is a magic wishbone because it's a gold wishbone. You take it and hold it in your hand like this. Close your eyes real tight. Wish with all your might. Maybe wishes come true. Then you can put your wishbone on a ribbon or in a drawer or maybe on the Christmas tree where you can use lots of wishes. And if you wish the old-fashioned way, you only get one wish. But if you wish the magic way, you can have lots of wishes. Before you go home today, everybody will get a magic wishbone from the turkey farm.
I'm here with my friends, the Junior Girl Scout Troop 122 from Bitterroot School. And they've prepared a very special song for you about turkeys. But before they sing it, I would like them to introduce themselves. I'm so happy that they could be with me on my show today. Now, girls, let's hear your song.
My turkey went walking one morning, the November weather to see. A man with a hatchet approached her. Oh, bring back my turkey to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my turkey to me, to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my turkey to me. On windows and sidewalks a shopping, the signs in the windows to see, and everywhere hungry cat gobblers. Oh, bring back my turkey to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my turkey to me, to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my turkey to me. I went out to dinner and ordered the best thing they had I could see. They brought it all roasted and sizzling. They brought back my turkey to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my turkey to me, to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my turkey to me.
That was very cute. Thank you very, very much. Peter, I want to thank you very much for allowing us to come out to the farm today. We've really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much for coming out. We enjoyed it too.
And who are these cute little girls we've got here?
This is my granddaughter. And this is Danielle.
Danielle. Well, thank you very much. We really enjoyed ourselves.
Thank you for coming.
Hi, I'm Rose Taptoe, and welcome to the studio. We just had a wonderful time at O'Donnell's Turkey Farm, and now I'd like to say a few words about Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving time is a time when we think about having a wonderful turkey dinner and sharing it with very special friends and family. And that's only right, because Thanksgiving began as a holiday of sharing. As you probably remember from your studies at school, the Pilgrims came to America in the year 1620 on a ship called the Mayflower. But before the Pilgrims came to what they called the New World, they were used to living in villages and towns in England. They were really unprepared for life in the wilderness. But they established a settlement, which they called Plymouth Colony, and struggled through a very harsh winter. Unfortunately, half of them died. But then a Wampanoag Indian chief named Massasoit befriended the Pilgrims and taught them how to survive in their new home. At the end of a year, the 50 remaining Pilgrims and 90 Native Americans shared a celebration of Thanksgiving. But they didn't eat what you and I usually have for Thanksgiving dinner, roast turkey and mashed potatoes and gravy, because the Pilgrims didn't realize that potatoes were edible. And since there were no sweet potatoes or apples in England at that time, they didn't know that they could eat them either. And because there was no sugar in the colony, they didn't even have cranberry sauce. Bummer. But the Indians brought 5 deer, and the Pilgrims supplied codfish and sea bass, and there were a few wild birds, probably swans, but not turkeys. 242 years later, President Abraham Lincoln issued a proclamation making Thanksgiving an annual holiday. So just like the Native Americans and colonists hundreds of years ago, we gather on Thanksgiving Day to share food and friendship with our very special people in our life as we offer thanks for the blessings that we've received throughout the year. I really enjoy Thanksgiving, and now I'm going to share a very special Thanksgiving story with a couple of friends of mine, Cassie and Lauren. How are you today? You're fine, I bet. We're going to read a story called Clifford's Thanksgiving Visit, and it's written by Norman Bridwell. You know Clifford, don't you? Is he America's biggest, reddest, funniest dog? I think he might be. Okay, we'll start our story here. Here is Clifford, and here is his little friend, Emily Elizabeth. And she says, "Hi, my name is Emily Elizabeth. My dog Clifford and I have a lot of fun on Halloween. Then, as soon as Halloween is over, we start looking forward to Thanksgiving." See, there's Emily Elizabeth in her little Halloween costume, and it looks like Clifford's pretty dressed up too, isn't he?
But I was proud.
Oh, you were? Well, that's very nice. And you probably noticed that Clifford is kind of your large economy-sized dog. Here he is. "Last Thanksgiving, my family flew away to visit my grandma. Clifford had to stay home. Our neighbors took very good care of him. And they were very kind, but he got lonely. He thought about his own family, his father, his sisters, Bonnie and Claudia, his brother, Nehru, but they all live in different places. That's what happens sometimes, isn't it? Our families live far away from us. Most of all, Clifford thought about his mom. He decided to spend Thanksgiving with her, but she lives in the city. So early Thanksgiving morning, Clifford started out. It was easy. There weren't many cars. I guess he got a really early start before the traffic started, huh? But as he got nearer the city, there were a lot of cars. Everybody seemed to be going to see their mom. Some drivers were in a hurry. They bumped into Clifford and honked at him. See that? Beep, 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 beep. I like this horn over here. It says, "Auga." Have you ever heard of an auga horn? Nah. Clifford came to a bridge. There were a few cars on it. They had all stopped, and Clifford wondered why. Soon he found out it was a drawbridge, and it was opening right under Clifford. Now, he's in a pretty tough spot there, isn't he? Oh, no! Poor Clifford. He fell right into the water. Clifford was wet and cold. He didn't want to get back onto the highway, but there was another way to go. He was in a strange neighborhood. Nothing looked familiar. Where was his mom? Clifford then went onto a very tall building because he thought he could see better from up there, and he went up to look around. He could see his old neighborhood. He could see his mom's home. He jumped down and started walking. But a Thanksgiving Day parade was blocking his way. Clifford usually likes parades, but he was in a hurry today because he wanted to see his mom. He decided to take a shortcut through the park. And he was almost there when he passed some kids playing football in the park. Clifford didn't mean to, but he wound up in the game. Actually, it looks like they were playing the game on top of him, doesn't it? Yes. At last, he found his mom. You see his mom up there? She was very happy to see her little boy. Her owner was happy too. He served them some Thanksgiving dinner. You see it? He's giving Clifford a whole turkey. Judging from the size of Clifford, that's probably a little hors d'oeuvre for him, isn't it? I was having fun at Grandma's house, but I kept thinking about Clifford. I wondered if he was thinking of me. He was. He loves his mom, but as soon as he could, he hurried home, and so did I, because I am thankful for Clifford, and Clifford is thankful for me. Hi, I'm here with my friend Anne, and she owns Puddle Jumpers, the toy store in West Park Plaza, and she's brought some very interesting toys for us to see today. Anne, welcome to my program.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, and what do we have here today? What can we start with?
Well, we're going to start with the younger children. We carry a number of toys that are really appropriate for very young children. But for the ones that are beginning to learn their alphabets and their numbers, this is called a flip and learn alphabet.
Oh, that's nice.
And whenever they want to say what's an O, it'll show an orange, and it says the word orange also.
Oh, that's nice.
Or if you need to know the color, there's blue, and something that's blue. It's a bluebird.
Mm-hmm.
There's numbers, 2 ice cream cones, 8
Chicks?
chicks, are they?
Well, that's really nice.
We also have the lorry puzzles, which are a type of foam rubber puzzle that's very durable, a lot of very colorful. Some are extremely simple, some much more difficult. These are the Brio Mech products. And it's construction toys, and they have the different tools in them. They're plastic, but they're very durable tools. Different wood pieces, and they can put these together in as many ways as their imagination allows. And of course, the always popular dinosaurs.
Yes, dinosaurs are really in, aren't they? Or did
Yes.
they ever go out?
I don't believe they've been out for a long time. They've been around good. Now, these are the Carnegie line of collectible dinosaurs. There's a vinyl toy that's really sturdy and durable. The thing of it is, you'll have a very young child will come in and will be able to announce Stegosaurus. That's what he wants, or a Tyrannosaurus.
So
The names that I can't hardly say, they know them.
And these were all sort of made under the direction of the Museum of Natural History in Pittsburgh, right? So they're pretty authentic in how the animal looked, right?
Right. The artists are real careful to do a lot of research and come up with some of the.
So this guy I'm holding is the Tyrannosaurus, right?
Right.
Also known as T-Rex.
Yes. And then, of course, we carry the Breyer collectibles, and that's also what Muffy is. Muffy is a.
Yes, Muffy is our little pilgrim today.
Yes.
And people actually collect these teddy bears, don't they?
They sure do, and mostly they'll buy a bear, and then they'll buy the different costumes as they come out.
Well, I want to thank you very much, Anne, for showing us what toys are out now for kids. Thanks very much.
Thank you for having me on.
We're here with my very special guest, Joe Firecrow, who's come all the way from Lame Deer on the Northern Cheyenne Reservation to share these beautiful flutes with us and his beautiful music. And then I have some guests here too. I have Alexandra, Paloma, and Ashley who are sharing these flutes with us too. Welcome, Joe.
Thank you.
Well, I see that you've brought some beautiful flutes. Tell us a little bit about the tradition behind these flutes.
Well, the flutes are a very important part of our tradition. They're making a comeback with the awareness of most tribes are going through today concerning their traditions. When I first learned to make the flutes, I was very young. I was 18 years old, and at that time, excuse me, at that time, life was, for me, was pretty, single, and I had a lot of goals in mind, and I did. But when I very first heard the flute played by the man that taught me how, his name's John Rayner, I knew that I was going to play and learn them, and so he passed on this. The flute to me, and the tradition of the flute is different from tribe to tribe. It's different from some people view it as a courting flute, and when a young man found a woman he wanted to court, and kind of like a girlfriend, you know. And he would play songs like this for her. So that was one of the traditions of the flute. But as you grow older as a maker and player of flutes, the flute grows with you. And it slowly becomes you play it for the tribe, you share your music with them. And you honor the tribal members. And it's also, today, it's becoming more and more a part of our healing as a people, which is very, very important, I believe. So the tradition of the flute as being a cording flute only is changing. It's also becoming a wider acceptance within the tribe again, but also with non-Native Americans, and it's very popular now.
Now, the melodies that you play on the flute, are they traditional, or are people writing melodies all the time for the flute?
The wonderful thing about playing the flute is it's an instrument of expression. Mm-hmm. You're a flute player, you know how, to play, and you play with the notes. You read sheet music. With the flute, you learn how to play, with just the notes, and then you play what really sounds good to you. So there's no sheet music that you read. You play from how you feel and hear. Mm-hmm. And if you're feeling really good and happy, then that will come out in your flute music.
And you also make flutes, don't you? You
Yes.
and your family make flutes.
Yes. Yes, I have a younger brother that does wonderful carvings on the flutes, and as well as I do, and it is a tradition that we have learned to make the flutes, and we do them strictly by hand. We don't use machines and lathes, drills, and things like that to make them. So we're the craftsman part of making the flute is a big tradition for us.
And what kind of woods do we use are the best for flutes to resonate the tones?
Well, the traditional wood for our tribe, the Northern Cheyenne tribe, is cedar. But we also use pine. Mm-hmm. And for the more contemporary flute, we use redwood. Oh, but you can make them out of really hard woods like ironwood, oak, I think cherry is one. And they're made out of different others like bamboo and things like that. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, tell us about these flutes you brought here.
Okay, first of all, we're speaking about how they make them. This here is a flute that I've been working on for a long time, and it's a traditional piece. And when it was given to me, it came just like this, just like a block of wood, like this.
Solid piece.
Yes. So I had to figure out how I wanted to make it. And so I had a problem with the knots on the wood and how it was shaped, because one side dropped off like this where the tree was round. And you start carving the inside of the flutes. You split your wood, right down the middle, and then you start carving the wood out from the inside. Mm-hmm. And what I'll do is sit here and with a knife, or I use a wood chisel, is I'll carve it out like this. Mm-hmm. And then I'll carve, as you notice, there's a chamber here, which is very important. The Native American flute is based on, you've seen those little black recorders, you learn to play those little black flutes. Yeah. They're based on the same principle. There's no reed. So the chamber, each piece has got to match up perfectly with the wall and the chamber. And then once that's done, then you make the holes in it. Which is real important is the chamber holes, which is a 1/4-inch hole on each side of the flute. And then once that's done, then they're glued together, and you let them set for at least 2 or 3 days. I would like to show off this flute here. It's a very beautiful flute.
Yes, it is.
It's an eagle flute. And my younger brother had carved by hand this flute. And it took him about 4 or 5 months. Yes, and this one's a more contemporary piece. It's got beadwork on it and a buffalo. And I carved this piece here. And it's, like I said, it's strictly by hand, which I want to keep it that way. It's not quite done yet. It's still got finishing work to be done.
Do each one of these flutes have its own distinct tone?
Yes. Total, they're like different people. One thing I learned from the flute is you work from the inside out. You work, and it's just like you as a human being. You work from your inside, and then you work on your outside, which makes for a very good flute and a very good person.
That's true.
Yes, it's a real good tradition to have. Okay, I got a piece here that's square, and this is a very important piece for me because it's very pretty flute. It sounds really pretty, very beautiful, and but it's also very hard to play.
Is it?
Yes. And then I wanted to experiment with smaller flutes, and this is it's a real small one.
Look at that.
And it's made exactly like I make a big one. I would like to show you what this little
Yes,
flute
we'd like
sounds
to
like.
hear what that little one sounds like
Okay.
too.
It sounds just like a big one, but really high pitched.
That's
that?
lovely. Well, let's hear another tune, Joe.
Okay.
On this beautiful flute
Okay.
here. Isn't
I'll
that
show you right
lovely?
here. And they're different.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
That was very beautiful. I'd like to thank you very much for coming and sharing your music with us and telling us about flutes. It was wonderful, wasn't it, Bryce? Thanks very much, Joe.
Thank you.
And I'd like to thank all of you for being with me today, for sharing this half hour with me. And all of us here hope that you and your family and friends have a very happy Thanksgiving. Bye.
Bye.
you